Hello, this is the car wrap design tutorial part 2, and in this one I'm going to show you how to template out your top as well as design something for the car that you can then use to break up. And I will show different parts of the car and how they interact with one another when it comes to design and print. So first, I have my top on my clipboard here. I'm actually going to copy it. Got this image from Google as well. There it is. And I'm going to match it up to the size of the vehicle. So here, I'm going to turn down the opacity, hit enter so I can see it better. Actually, I'm going to flip it around so that we know we got the front of the car to the front of the car. And again, this isn't going to give you an exact measurement, but it's going to get you close enough to where you can figure out your square footage to print before you have the vehicle to measure something. And if you have the vehicle to measure, you can measure out your panels, or if the vehicle's at a shop, you can have them measure it out. You just really want a general idea so that you can send this off to somebody who's able to print it. So now, I have a file here that is 250 wide by 100 tall. That was after I sized this, again, to the length of the car. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did in part 1. I'm going to merge it with our background layer. I'm going to name it Original. I'm going to duplicate it. Name Multiply. And name Mask. Now I will quickly mask this out. Now that the outside has been masked, and it was a little different from doing the side, I didn't have to subtract these windows because of the way that the mirror overlapped in the template. Most templates from the top will be the same, but I'm going to have to subtract out. This is again using the polygon lasso tool. I'm going to have to subtract out the windows, the rear window, as well as the front windshield, using the same technique that I showed in part 1. Also, I'm going to get that hood scoop, this guy right here. I'm going to grab that as well so that we don't have to worry about seeing anything that's not supposed to be wrapped in the template. Now that that is complete, all my edges are secure. I'll clean this up a little bit. Add to the mask. Using Shift. Make sure everything's clean. And I will delete from my mask. Make my multiply layer multiply. Delete original. And group using Control G. Name this template again. Right click, make it red, and from this point I can now, for the sake of this, I will copy my design layer from this file, drop it into here, and there we have it. Now we have two files that are templated and ready. So, for the sake of keeping this easy, I am going to go down into Illustrator, and I have downloaded a copyright-free car wrap design. I would highly suggest you design your own wrap, but just for the sake of breaking up this print, I am going to use this. So, on our driver side, I'm going to bring this in and make it the full length of the vehicle. And I'm going to bring it down into our design. Now, that actually looks pretty good, but we have a few issues. And the reason why I say that is your bumper here, matching these circles up, is going to be a nightmare. And I say that lightly because it truly is a nightmare, as well as right here. So one way to combat that is we can make this front bumper and this rear bumper solid. I find that to be the easiest way to get around this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this brush. That's a little bit big for my liking. I'm going to come down, let's say, 1800, and I'm going to do 0 hardness because I want it to fade. And I'm going to grab this orange using the eyedropper tool. I turn the template back on, and it's locked. And I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to delete some of the orange. And again, this is going to prevent any pattern matching right here, as well as I'm going to get rid of anything that's going to go onto the hood too. Because if you look here, you can see this fender and this hood seam are going to hit each other, and that is going to be very difficult to match up. So we're going to keep this entire front side faded. As for the back, we can do the exact same thing. And I'm going to pick the dark, actually I'm going to pick the light blue, because I think it'll fade better. I'm going to pick that, turn my template back on, and I'm just going to come up past it so that we don't have to worry about matching it up. I'm going to try and keep my line straight. That looks pretty good to me. As for the top, this is where it can get a little bit complicated. So, I have my design laid out here, and I should finish this, actually. This way we have room for the hood to match up the way it's supposed to. And if you notice, I'm drawing on this layer 1 here. I should call this design. And I'll be able to now, I'll fill out this blue as well to make sure that everything is filled out. So we're not going to miss anything when we go to print this file. So I'm actually going to clean this up a little bit because I really don't like those blobs. I'm going to use my selector, my rectangle selector, rectangular marquee tool, not even know it's called that. Select where I want, make sure I'm on my design layer, copy, and paste. And I'm going to delete this design layer. You can see it cleaned itself right up. Now, that'll be my design. So, now to the top. I'm going to drop this that I copied into here. Oh, need to lock that. And right here is about where I think that landed. Just about. Doesn't have to be exact. But we want to get it close because this stuff in here is going to match up on this body line with the hood. Same with the trunk, same with the spoiler, same with the hood, same with the front bumper, and the same for the other side. Bring this back a little, this way our hood is completely orange. Again, I'll reference this to see where it hits on the mirror. I know that that triangle right there is pretty much below the mirror. This triangle is pretty much below the mirror by a good 6 or 7 inches, let's say. Yeah. So I'll work from that, knowing that that lands there. It's pretty much directly under it too. Yeah. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and duplicate it. I'm going to click on the transform tool and I'm going to flip it vertical, meaning it's going to flip up here, not over here. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to match it up to that, knowing that that is exactly where that's supposed to be. Now, I'm going to take it again and I'm going to cut it right down the middle of the car. Remember, I'm on the second design copy now. I'm going to take it, I'm going to split it right in half. And I'm coming out here to account for the bleed that I'm going to need when I print this car. I'm going to copy it, paste it. Actually, I should have made it a little bit bigger. Nope, that was right. I'll be able to do that. And again, paste it. What I'll do is not that. I don't want to scale it. Or right click, flip vertical again. And I want to match this completely with that. Now some people might not like the symmetry that happens here, but I find it pretty easy when it comes to designing, and you don't even have to do it with a design like this. It could be really for a design that is meant to be the same on both sides and you need to find a way to match up the roof. You could always fade it in, fade it out with oranges or other colors. I'll get into that in more detail in another video. But for the time being, I'm just going to keep a symmetrical roof. Now, I'm going to take this design layer again, and I'm going to duplicate it. And once again, I'm going to hit right click, flip vertical. We're going to bring it up here. We're going to make sure it's on the top. We're going to match it up one more time. So now, looking at this, we see there's a body line right here, meeting from the top of the door panel, the pillars, to the roof. Now, it might not match up exact. You would need to template out the car with a scanner of some kind or transfer tape or something like that to get this to match pretty much exact. But for the time being, if you were to send this as a print file to a wrap shop and this was to just try to match the roof to the side as best as you can, I find that this is one of the best ways to do it. So now that we have this mapped out, your trunk here, what I'm actually going to do is now that we have this top file completely in and symmetric, I'm going to merge all the layers. That actually doesn't look too bad because our hood now, we can make it completely orange. Actually, let me not mess that up. Make sure that when you are eyedropping from your template, you want to make sure that your template layer is off. I should just be able to do this here. If you hold shift with your brush tool, you will get a straight line. So here, we have our hood completely orange. We have our roof semi-matched up as best as we can get it. We can try and get this geometric pattern on the mirror, but that'll be printed separately. I'll be able to show you that in a separate video. But as for the trunk, I'm going to make this that solid blue, just to keep things at ease. Take that, turn my template back on, understand where this is all at. That was a little too much. Take it back a little bit. Make sure that it's even on both sides. And that will be my trunk. Simple design, easy. If I were to laminate this, I'd probably do it in satin. I feel like these colors would pop with a satin finish. But for now, you can see we have no issue here on the bumper, no issue here on the hood, no issue here on the bumper, no issue here going into your trunk. I'm actually going to edit that a little bit because I did not do a good job on that. Make sure you're on your design layer. There it is. So now the rear end of the car is completely blue. The front end of the car is completely orange. Hood's orange. You can see this here, here. Nothing in here is on the design. We matched this up as best as we could. On your trunk, you're not facing any problems running into that. Your spoiler is all blue. The bumpers will be all blue. Your mirrors, you can decide to have a pattern or not. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck.